if the economy crashes. 10 U.S. cities that will collapse first. The United States economy, while resilient, is not immune to sudden downturns. When economic disaster strikes, not all cities are affected equally. Some have built-in strengths that help them weather financial storms, while others are deeply vulnerable due to their industries, demographics, or financial management. In this video, we'll explore 10 U.S. cities that are most likely to collapse first if the economy crashes. These cities already face serious challenges and a major downturn could push them over the edge. Let's dive into the list. Number 10. San Bernardino, California. San Bernardino is a city that has faced deep financial struggles, including a highly publicized municipal bankruptcy. While it has made progress since then, its economy is still fragile. Many residents work in low-wage sectors and commute long distances to neighboring areas for employment. This makes them vulnerable to fluctuations in fuel costs, job cuts, and inflation. The city also suffers from underfunded public services, inadequate housing, and high crime rates. A national economic collapse could tip San Bernardino back into financial chaos, with widespread foreclosures, business closures, and government service failures all likely scenarios. Number 9. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis faces several structural challenges that make it particularly susceptible to economic collapse. The city has long struggled with poverty, crime, and underinvestment. Its economy is reliant on logistics and transportation, particularly centered around shipping and freight industries. While these sectors can be robust, they are also deeply tied to the national economy. A downturn would slow shipping demand, triggering job losses. The city's school system and public services are already under strain, and the financial cushion to absorb additional economic stress is thin. Memphis could face rising social tensions, a collapse in housing stability, and increased migration out of the city if economic conditions worsen. Number 8. Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas is one of the most tourism-dependent cities in America. While it's famous for entertainment and hospitality, those are precisely the sectors that suffer first in an economic downturn. When people tighten their budgets, vacations and luxury experiences are the first to go. During a crash, hotels, casinos, restaurants, and entertainment venues would see plummeting revenue, leading to massive layoffs. The city's real estate market, often driven by speculation and investment, would likely crash as well. Without a strong safety net or economic diversity, Las Vegas would find itself struggling to support its population, with rising homelessness and unemployment posing serious threats to its stability. Number 7. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland is another industrial city that has faced a long-term decline. Although it has made strides in areas like healthcare and education, its economy still leans heavily on sectors that are vulnerable to national downturns. The city's aging infrastructure and population loss have created a fragile municipal system that struggles even in stable times. A severe economic crash would likely lead to a sharp drop in employment, especially among working-class residents, and would strain the city's limited resources. Cleveland's public education system, transportation, and housing could quickly begin to deteriorate under economic pressure, leading to widespread instability. Number 6. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore is a city with a complex economic history and ongoing challenges. Once a hub of manufacturing and shipping, the city has faced decades of economic decline, population loss, and rising crime. While there are efforts to rebuild and invest in new sectors like healthcare and education, these changes haven't reached all corners of the city. In an economic crash, Baltimore's fragile recovery would be in jeopardy. The divide between the wealthy and the poor could deepen further, and the city's budget, already strained, would be unable to absorb the shock. Public services would suffer, and social unrest could increase. Number 5. Fresno, California. Fresno is a city with significant agricultural ties, located in the Central Valley of California. While agriculture might seem like a stable sector, it is highly sensitive to broader economic trends, labor shortages, and environmental changes. Fresno also suffers from high levels of poverty and limited economic diversification. If the U.S. economy crashes, Fresno's working-class population would be among the first to feel the pain. Layoffs, business closures, and housing instability would rise quickly, and the local government would struggle to keep up with the demand for social services. Without a broad economic base to support recovery, Fresno could easily spiral into collapse. Number 4. New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans has faced more than its fair share of disasters, both natural and economic. While it remains one of the most culturally rich cities in the United States, it also faces deep structural issues. The economy of New Orleans is heavily tied to tourism, hospitality, and energy, three sectors that are extremely sensitive to economic downturns. If a crash occurs, job losses in these sectors would hit the city hard. Additionally, the city's infrastructure is already fragile, and poverty rates remain high. The combination of these factors makes New Orleans particularly susceptible to collapse if the national economy falters. Number 3. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Atlantic City has long depended on tourism and casino gaming as its economic lifeblood. However, the decline in gambling revenues and the rise of competition from neighboring states have severely weakened its economic foundation. Even during periods of growth, Atlantic City has struggled to balance its budget and support its infrastructure. In an economic crash, tourism dollars would dry up quickly, slashing revenues and putting thousands of workers out of a job. Given its limited economic diversity, Atlantic City would have few avenues to recover, and many of its residents would be left in financial peril. Number 2. Stockton, California. Stockton is another city that has faced serious financial hardship in the past and remains at risk in the event of another crash. It became one of the first major American cities to declare bankruptcy during the last financial crisis. Since then, the city has made efforts to stabilize, but its dependence on industries like real estate and public sector employment leaves it exposed. Stockton has high living costs compared to local income levels, and a significant portion of its population lives paycheck to paycheck. In a nationwide economic collapse, the strain on social services, combined with high unemployment and housing instability, could cause Stockton to collapse again, potentially even worse than before. Number 1. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit has long been a symbol of industrial might, but also of economic decay. Once the epicenter of America's automobile industry, the city has struggled for decades with deindustrialization, population decline, and crumbling infrastructure. Despite efforts at revitalization, Detroit still faces deep-rooted problems. Many neighborhoods are plagued by poverty and abandoned buildings, and the city government has struggled to maintain services. A national economic collapse would likely reverse any recent gains, overwhelming already strained public services and causing further outmigration. Detroit's heavy reliance on a fragile tax base and struggling public institutions make it extremely vulnerable. An economic crash doesn't hit every city the same way. While some urban centers have diversified economies and robust safety nets, others are walking a financial tightrope even in good times. The cities listed here face deep-rooted issues that make them particularly vulnerable in a downturn. Whether it's reliance on tourism, lack of economic diversity, or ongoing struggles with poverty and infrastructure, these cities could be the first to fall if a major economic crisis occurs. Understanding these risks is vital not only for policymakers and residents, but for anyone concerned about the future stability of urban America. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Infosphere. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on global and local trends that could shape our future.